Hello all, and welcome back to The Easy Nerd. I'm the Easy Nerd, and I've been in a Spider-Man mood recently, so I thought I'd do a video ranking every Spider-Man-based movie, from worst to best. I'm including movies where Spider-Man is the main character or a Spider-Man-related character like a side hero or villain. But I'm not doing Avengers-based team-ups. Remember guys, just my opinion, not the right opinion. Spoilers ahead. Last place, Spider-Man 1978. Spider-Man in name only. And it's terrible. I have no idea what was going on. And he gets into a mecha at the end. Don't ask me why, because I don't know. 19th, Madam Web. What a waste of a movie and a great cast and concept. The story was boring and makes no sense within the context of any Spider-Man movie, as it's an apparent prequel. The main hero, Madam Web, and her future Spider-Women allies are okay. The villain, Ezekiel, sucks and is a waste of an interesting character from the comics. There was barely any action, and I don't even remember the soundtrack. The only saving grace is the future Spider-Woman costumes look decent. But overall, it's a bad, pointless movie. 18th, Spider-Man 1977. The first live-action Spider-Man movie, which is essentially a pilot for the 70s series. It's watchable, I suppose. Nicholas Hammond makes for a fine Peter Parker and Spider-Man, and the costume is okay for the time. And some bits I enjoyed, but that's all I can say about it, really. 17th, Morbius. It's Morbin time! This movie is meh. The story is nothing special. Morbius himself, played by Jared Leto, is fine. His evil counterpart, played by Matt Smith, is the highlight of the movie. The action's fine, costumes and effects fine, the soundtrack I don't even remember. Overall, just meh. Now on to some of the decent stuff. 16th, Spider-Man Lotus. This is a cheat, but I wanted to have one more entry on this list to make 20. It's a high-profile fan movie that has some controversies with the director and star, which I'm going to ignore for the purposes of this video. But overall, as a fan movie with a tiny budget, it's just about decent. The story is a decent adaptation of The Night Gwen Stacy Died and The Boy Who Collects Spider-Man, both classic comic stories. Spider-Man is done decently, just a bit over-melodramatic. The villain Green Goblin, in the little we see of him, is good, and we get a cool scene with a shocker that's actually better than the Spider-Man Homecoming version. Side characters are all done well. The action, costumes, effects, and soundtrack are good for a fan movie. Overall, a decent effort, and I enjoyed watching it. 15th, Venom: The Last Dance. A disappointing end to the Venom trilogy, as we seem to be building to bigger and better things crossing over with the MCU and Spider-Man, but it's at least entertaining. The story is fine, with Venom being hunted by minions of Null, the god of symbiotes, and basically having one last road trip with himself. Venom, played by Tom Hardy as usual, is a highlight. Null, the villain, despite seeing very little of him, is portrayed well by Andy Serkis. I just want more of him. The action is fine, but the highlight of the movie comes at the end, when Venom, some symbiotes, and the military battle Null's minions at Area 51. Some great stuff there. And the soundtrack, costume, and effects are good. Overall, a disappointing but decent movie. 14th, Kraven the Hunter. Well, it's not good, but it's a guilty pleasure of a watch for me. The story, despite being silly, is entertaining enough. Aaron Taylor Johnson as Kraven the Hunter is fine, and I did think he was pretty cool throughout the movie. Russell Crowe plays his father, chewing the scenery in entertaining fashion, as Russell Crowe does a lot these days. Also, Rhino is unintentionally hilarious and a joy to watch. The Foreigner and Chameleon are in this movie too, and are cool. The action is mostly pretty good throughout. Costumes and effects are nothing to write home about. However, the actual Kraven costume we see at the end looks cool. The soundtrack I liked as well. Overall, nearly good, and a slight upgrade on the previous entry. Joint 12th and 13th. Venom and Venom: Let There Be Carnage. The first good movies on this list. And yeah, I think both movies are just about good. Both have good stories. Tom Hardy, I think, is a perfect Venom. Riot from the first movie, and Carnage and Shriek from the follow-up are all done well and are great foils for Venom. The action, costumes, effects, and soundtrack are all good. The first movie reveals Carnage after the credits, which was a perfect setup, and the second had a Spider-Man cameo which, unfortunately, hasn't paid off yet. Overall, both are good, fun movies. Joint 10th and 11th, The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. Now, on to the great movies. I love The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. I think they are both great Spider-Man movies, with 1 a great origin and 2 a great follow-up, both adapting the Death of the Stacy's arc very well. Andrew Garfield is great as Spider-Man. I would argue the best Spider-Man in terms of look, personality, and actions, with a fantastic side cast, with Emma Stone's Gwen Stacy being the best love interest Spider-Man has had on screen to date. The villains are great also. The Lizard in the first movie is great, and Electro in the second, also great. Both Green Goblin and Rhino also appear in the sequel, and they're fine. The action is great in both movies, with Spider-Man swinging never looking better. The costume, particularly in the sequel, is perfect, and the effects and soundtrack are top-notch. Love these movies, and hope one day we get a third movie with Andrew Garfield in the role, or at least a director's cut of the second movie. He was just that good. Joint 7th, 8th, and 9th, the 2000 Spider-Man trilogy. The first of the God-tier movies being Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy. I loved these movies growing up, and I love them now. The first Spider-Man movie was the first time any superhero movie truly nailed it. From the hero, villain, costume, tone, and action. Everything just worked. Spider-Man himself, played by Tobey Maguire, was an amazing Spider-Man, and a fine Peter Parker. Every movie in the trilogy had Spider-Man fighting one of his nemeses, from Green Goblin to Doc Ock to Venom, with the former iconic, and the latter a decent attempt. The side characters were also good, from Mary Jane to Harry Osborn, aka the New Goblin, and others. The stories adapted some of my favorite comic storylines, from Spider-Man's origin story to the Spider-Man No More story to the Black Suit Saga, which were done justice even with the funny dancing. The action, costumes, and soundtrack, all perfect. I hope to God one day Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire come back for a Spider-Man 4 for one last ride with this version of the character. Joint 5th and 6th, Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home. More God-tier Spider-Man movies, this time set in the MCU at its peak. Firstly, I love these movies, as I've wanted Spider-Man to stay in high school for at least a few movies, and we got it with these. One being about the homecoming dance, and the other a school trip to Europe. Tom Holland is an absolutely fantastic Spider-Man, same as the previous two, and I love his interactions with other major players in the MCU. The side cast is great as always as well. The villains, being Vulture and Mysterio, are both nailed and some of the best Spider-Man movie foes. Action, brilliant. Costume and effects, brilliant. Soundtrack, brilliant. Overall, brilliant stuff once again. Joint 3rd and 4th, Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. Peter Parker is my Spider-Man, but I do love Miles Morales and Spider-Man multiverse team-up stories, and they did both things justice in these movies. All the Spider-Men are awesome in these movies, mainly Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen, and older Peter Parker Spider-Man, Spider-Noir, who is hilarious, and Spider-Man 2099 being the standouts, with cameos from other Spider-Men in media. The villains, of which there are many, are great, with Kingpin, Green Goblin, Doc Ock, The Spot, and others done great. The action and animation are gorgeous, and the soundtrack, particularly the one by Post Malone, is brilliant. I cannot wait for the third and final entry, Beyond the Spider-Verse. Also, shout out for adapting the death of Spider-Man in the first movie. Overall, probably the best superhero animated movies ever made. Top place, Spider-Man No Way Home and its extended edition. A top 10 movie of all time for me. An epic, perfect Spider-Man multiverse movie. The story has all three of the modern great Spider-Men, Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire, teaming up to battle some of their greatest enemies, Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Sandman, Electro, and the Lizard, in epic fashion. It has an emotional gut punch of a story and is a dream movie I never thought we'd get to see. The action, Especially seeing all three Spider-Men team up in their best versions of their costumes is amazing. The soundtrack, too, is amazing. Everything is amazing. Doctor Strange is present throughout the movie and is great as usual, and we have cameos from Wong, Venom, and some figures of other Spider-Man villains. A perfect Spider-Man movie that I believe they will never top. Thanks for tuning in. Leave your thoughts and Spider-Man movie rankings in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time.